This is the dark side of Brazil. The Brazilian economy struggled at the turn of the 20th century, experiencing an economic downturn and lacking the infrastructure to go into the industrial economy that was booming. In the early 1970s, Presidents Artur da Costa and Emilio Mediici created economic policies focusing on the domestic production of goods. The country finally built the infrastructure expansion needed to fully embrace industrialization. At the end of 2022, the country's official estimated GDP was $1.92 trillion, while its GDP per capita was $8,831.13. This represents around 0.83% of the world's total economy. A Brazilian trend that's almost as famous as its carnival? The Brazilian Buttlift. Brazilians are obsessed with physical beauty and plastic surgery. Unlike in other countries, patients are thought of as having the right to beauty. So plastic surgeries are available for free or low cost in public hospitals, with the government subsidizing nearly 500,000 surgeries every year. One particular procedure that originated and made popular in Brazil is the BBL, or Brazilian Buttlift. It was pioneered by Ivo Patangi, who eventually taught surgeons all over the world how to perform it. But this technique is not without its risks. Several patients have revealed the effects of botched operations. An example of this is the runner-up to the Brazilian beauty contest, Miss Bum Bum, who went into septic shock and was placed on life support for her BBL. Another woman was not so lucky. She died from pulmonary embolism hours after hydrogel was injected into her buttocks. Experts have voiced their concerns over Brazil's obsession with beauty. The search for perfection might numb women from the dangers of plastic surgeries and turn a blind eye towards risky methods that could lead to death. If you ever visit Brazil, there's one area you should probably skip. It's favelas. Favelas are slums or shanty towns located on the outskirts of large cities in Brazil. It's where the working class resides, but it's also often associated with crime and poverty. Most of these areas are lacking in sewage systems and drinking water. It's also very densely populated, and the dwellings are mostly illegal. Ironically, favela tours have become a main attraction in Brazil despite its dangerous background. You could visit favelas, but there are several things you should be aware of. Here are some rules if you decide to visit. Don't visit or tour alone. Opt for a legitimate tour with great reviews. Avoid going down dark alleyways or wearing any fancy jewelry during the visit. You shouldn't give out candy or money to the kids in the neighborhood. Be aware of your surroundings and ask for permission when taking photographs or film. Always respect the locals and ask for permission before doing it. It's no wonder that Brazil still has favelas because the country is suffering from high levels of corruption. Its corruption percentage index is 38 out of 100, with 0 being highly corrupt and 100 as very clean. According to a study by the Getúlio Vargas Foundation from 2009 to 2022, the economy loses about 1.5% of its GDP per year due to corruption, crime, and tax evasion, or an equivalent of over 30 million reals or around $6.1 billion. One of the most well-known corruption cases in Brazil is the Petrobras corruption scandal, unveiled in 2014 that involved 80 politicians and members of the elites. It was estimated that $2.1 billion was redistributed by inflating prices and contracts. Another case mentioned in the media was regarding Brazil's meat exports. Dubbed Operation Weak Meat, over 100 Brazilian meat inspectors were accused of taking bribes in exchange for allowing sales of rancid or expired products in early 2017. They helped the culprits by falsifying exported documents. In the end, it caused the meat export to drop 22% in that year due to trade bans. Brazil is not only dealing with corruption, but the country also has issues with violent crimes. Brazil recorded 40,824 homicides in 2022, which means there were around 111 violent deaths every day that year. This is a 1% decrease from the previous year, but still leaves Brazil as one of the top countries in the world for murder. With the advancement in technology, criminals in Brazil have become even more creative. According to a survey from Igarape, at least 75% of Brazilian internet users have encountered cybercrime. One that's popular is by creating fake barcodes for payments. Criminals will design malware to rewrite barcodes sent to consumers so the money will be rewarded to them. It's reported that consumers have lost over $3.75 billion so far. With crimes being committed all over the country, it's no wonder that the prisons in Brazil are overcrowded. And with overcrowding comes the increasing levels of violence. It's reported that the living conditions are subhuman, and inmates often resort to adapting by creating tools out of unusual items. For example, a knife from a toothbrush, or even a tattoo gun made from pens and water. Prison riots and conflicts often happen due to these brutal living arrangements. One unique policy that we need to acknowledge in Brazil prisons is their holiday pardon. That's right. Prisoners can go home for a maximum of 7 days during these celebrations: Christmas, New Year, Mother's Day, Easter, and other holidays. Prisoners must exhibit good behavior if they want to use their holiday leave quota. Sadly, not all prisoners appreciate this opportunity enough. In 2023 Christmas period, more than 250 prisoners failed to come back after the leave was over. Do you have arachnophobia? You might want to skip this next fact. Spider rain in several areas of Brazil. The spiders aren't falling from the sky, but rather suspended in their gigantic webs that are stretched across 3 canopies or human-made constructions, such as telephone pole wires. Sometimes when the wind gets a hold of their nets, the spiders will fall off and rain down to the ground. This event is deemed normal, with the locals being quite social with the 8-legged animals. One of Brazil's most well-known celebrations is its Carnival Rio de Janeiro, which is a festival that's held every year on the Friday before Ash Wednesday. The carnival is the biggest event in Brazil and features parades of beautiful people in bikinis, costumes, and elaborate floats. But this event is not without its dark sides. Due to the overwhelming crowds, crimes and assaults usually increase during carnival days. A certain case that's associated with the carnival is the Samba School killing. Beija Flor Samba School, 12 times winner of the carnival parade, suffered a loss when one of their dancers was killed a few weeks before the carnival. The reason behind this is still a mystery, but it serves as a warning to never have your guard down during the carnival. Another controversy surrounding the carnival is its previous mockery of religious figures and satanic elements. Videos surfaced on social media that performers depicted the triumph of the devil in the carnival, and days later, heavy rains brought floods and killed several people in Sao Paulo. It seemingly assumed that God had damned the performers for their act, but seems like in reality, the accusations are far from being true. The act seen in the video was performed in 2019, while the flood happened in 2023. Another fact that's uniquely Brazilian is their dating culture. If you're new to the scene, you might get perplexed by their habits. The people are very open about their feelings, and public displays of affection are natural and common to see. Don't be surprised if your date gets physical on your first date or flatters you in a way you've never been complimented before. Try to be on the same page, or they'll see it as a complete disinterest. It takes some time to get used to, but in time, you'll learn to appreciate this more. Let me know in the comments if you have experienced that. Exploring Brazil's dark side gives us a layered narrative of this vibrant and lively nation, from inequality and violent crimes to their obsession with beauty. The country still needs to address these systemic issues to foster a brighter future that realizes its true potential.